Well, you asked me to iron it. It was my elder brother's engagement day. It was a big event with many guests. It's a big function where I'm from. All of my close family members had bought good expensive clothes to wear for the function. My dad had a silk shirt which was the most expensive of all. So, on the morning of the engagement day, as we were all busy to get stuff done, he asks me to iron his new shirt. He had bought the shirt 2 weeks prior and he had to ask me to do it on the function day that too. Right before we were about to leave. Usually I do iron his shirts most of the time, but it was just so busy and chaotic that day, and not to mention the iron we had was faulty. I told him I don't have time and the iron is faulty. He was pissed and started raising his voice. Everyone heard what was going on. So, I was like, okay. Whatever. Got his shirt, and as I was walking towards the iron table he yells, "It's silk. Make sure you put it on low heat." So, I plugged in the iron, put the heat in low, gave it a few minutes to heat up, and picked it up, and right when I placed it on the front of the shirt, it burned, creating a hole almost as big as the iron box. I, annoyed, picked up the shirt and held it to his face. He was so furious and started shouting and screaming at me. But, thankfully, everyone had heard me telling him the iron was faulty. So, everyone sided with me. He had to wear an old shirt till we got to the place. Since it was still morning, most of the shops were closed. But, my brother's friends went out of their way to get him a new shirt. 1/4 of the price of the original. For the function. He was furious for days. Note: the fault with the iron was a manufacturing defect. The minimum heat and max heat were swapped. We never noticed it because we usually put the heat right in the middle. But, I was scared to use it as I had previously burned 2 of my uniforms. He brought this onto himself since he specifically asked me to put it on low heat. The faulty machine read it as high heat. I figured this out after a couple of days. TBH. Even I felt bad for him. If he had time to holler around, he had time to do it himself. Unless of course there are infants and toddlers to gather up and get ready. I'm male. Ironing silk is touchy to say the least. Sounds like the silk shirt was silky polyester. Silk will scorch but not burn a hole through like that unless it is up in flames. Polyester melts. Poor Pop overpaid. For anyone new to ironing, keep a piece of cotton cloth around to iron first, to test the temperature of the iron. If the cloth is hot, you'll know the iron is also hot. Also, you can use the cloth as a buffer between the iron and the garment. Once someone yells, I no longer feel bad about what happens. You said he had the shirt for 2 weeks. His fault for not taking it to the dry cleaners to have it pressed. What kind of man doesn't know how to iron his own shirt? The moment they yell at me, all bets are off. You done good and deserve a pay on the back. Pat pat pat. Last minute guy through no planning gets what he gets. A person's lack of preparation somehow always ends up being another's problem. That way if things go sideways there's a convenient scapegoat built right in. Your dad sounds like a selfish jerk. My sympathy to you. I was a servant to my parents rather than a child. I'm sure your dad played the part of blameless victim well. I would have let him wear the old shirt. He deserved it. What a dick. No offense. But I don't feel bad for him at all. The ass could iron his own damn clothes. He was furious with himself for his stupidity. That's for sure. Not furious with you. Even if he acted like it was on you. Imagine being a grown adult and not knowing how to iron a shirt. Amazing that these people can even figure out breathing or drinking water. I personally would never iron silk, let alone last minute. I steam it if it's that bad. Leave it hanging on the door. As you take a hot shower, the steam will loosen the wrinkles and you can smooth it out there too with anything flat. Doesn't need to be hard. Bookwork. I've used a spatula. Bottom of a candle. But I prefer to do this day before just to make sure I get all the wrinkles, as silk is so delicate. It's better to do it in 2 different batches than be too rough in the first one. This leaves all my silks lasting a long time and looking in. Groomzilla. You knew it was faulty, so you might have tested it. IDK if you're my nemesis or Malu bro. Why do we have ears if we can't use them correctly? The elder brother. This is very similar to this top post. https www.reddit.com/r/maliciouscompliance/comments/title/ whilst getting ready for my engagement party Phil/. You said he had bought the shirt several weeks before. Why didn't he take it to get dry cleaned and or steamed? I never iron silk anything without a towel on top of it, regardless of low, high heat. Too many clothing items destroyed previously. Blessings. Okay, equals okay. Note, equals, TBH, equals to be honest. Sounds like your family could stop being so cheap as to buy expensive clothes but cheap items to care for them.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.